Well, hey guys, here's video number 2 from Sticky Church. Again, I'm just doing these videos as kind of like a recap for different sections in the book Sticky Church. And the purpose of these videos is to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page, so that we're all kind of pulling the same stuff out of the book. So this video is going to cover part 2 of Sticky Church, which I think is like chapters 6 through 10, or maybe it was 5 through 9. I think it was 5 through 9, but anyway. So I hope you're reading the book. I hope it's been good. I think it's a kind of a quick, easy read, and he is very, he's pretty engaging, telling stories and just kind of talking about what works. And so that's been really helpful. So I hope that as we're reading this together, that we're kind of building a culture here at One Hope as far as our life groups are concerned, that our life groups become something that holds on to people in a way that maybe they weren't before. So in this video, what I want to do is cover this section, and in this section he has talked about, it's basically like 12 reasons why sermon-based life groups are good for your church. And so there's, like I said, there's a lot of reasons that he gives. There's like 12. But what I want to do is kind of pull out 3 that I thought were relevant to us, and kind of 3 that I thought were three things that I want for our church, that I want for our people. And the first one is this. He talked about how linear discipleship programs tend to fail people. And what he means by that is anytime you have a process, a step-by-step process for a human being to go through, and then they're complete, anytime you catch yourself thinking that way, you know you're wrong. Because human beings are random people. Life is random. Just different circumstances happen to us in a way that we can't predict. And so saying, hey, just complete this 4-week course and you have everything you need to be a good Christian, it's a little short-sighted. And what it expects, that mindset, it expects people to remember things that they learned very early on in their walk, later in their walk. And I don't know about you, but I forget stuff all the time. And so a better discipleship method, the one that accounts for the randomness of life, is life groups. Because you're doing you're doing life in the context of a group. Now, here's how that works, or here's how that helps. When you are going through something that maybe the sermon isn't touching, say you have just had a loss in the family and the sermon on that week was on using your schedule for God better, like it just wasn't matching up with what was going on in your life. When you're in a life group and you bring that up, all of a sudden you have people who can respond in real time to the so often seemingly random events of life. And so that allows discipleship to happen even in the weird circumstances, even in the unpredictable. And so life groups are a much better means of discipleship than 12-step, than 4-step process programs, whatever you want to call that, because it allows for the randomness of the circumstances of life that come up. And so what I hope our life groups are a place where no matter what you're going through, whether it's good or bad, it's a place where you can come and grow in Jesus, where the good things are celebrated and the bad things we help pick you up from. And so that's what I want for our life groups. The second thing is this, that the life group model empowers people for ministry. I don't know if you've heard, but this is kind of a church thing that experts tell pastors a lot. It's that you can't do everything. In fact, one book I'd read recently said that one person can only effectively minister to about 125 people. So we're a church of 400, and so I can't do that on my own. Steve can't do that on his own. Steve and I can't do that on our own. We can't do everything. And what the life group model does is it helps empower other people to step up and to lead the people, to help minister to the people. So when you, as life group leaders, have somebody in your group who is hurting, who maybe goes to the hospital, who maybe lost their job, what our life groups can do is respond to that need in a way that Steve and I can't. You will know that person. You'll know what food they like, so when you make them a meal to take them, you'll know how their family is responding to this crisis maybe that they're going through, and you'll be able to meet with that family in a way that Steve and I couldn't. And so what life groups do is it empowers people to do ministry. And I love this section of the book because he talks about some common myths, the holy man myth and the holy place myth. That ministry can only happen by a distinct few holy men who are pastors. And if you're not a pastor and you're not holy enough, then you can't do ministry. You can't love on other people well, like Jesus did. Or the holy place myth that God only meets us in church. What life groups do is they destroy those myths. All of a sudden you see that group members, not even just the leaders, group members can minister to each other. It doesn't take a holy man, so to speak. And also that God meets you in your home. It doesn't take a holy place. And so what life groups do is they empower individuals to see God working in their lives in a way that Sunday morning can't accomplish. So that's the second thing. So life groups account for the randomness of life. Life groups empower people. But also in life groups, in sermon-based life groups, the message does more. When you dissect the message, the Puritans. I'm a nerd, so I used to study the Puritans a lot because they have really interesting things to say. But anyway, they used to talk about how every point in the message is a turning of the screw. So it's you start off with your main point, and maybe that screw turns the screw a little bit more into gets the truth a little bit more into your brain. Every point after that just turns that screw a little, so it gets deeper and deeper. Similarly, after the message, if we're in groups and we're discussing this message again, it's another turn of that screw. It's another hammering of that nail. It's another tool that God has used to deepen our understanding of His scriptures. So when we do a sermon-based life group, the message does more, which makes our church more effective. It makes us more effective at training up disciples, and it makes us more effective at helping people love sacrificially because they have a context group to apply that in. So those are kind of the three things that I wanted to pull out. I wanted to know what you thought. What was your favorite reason that he brought up? Let me give you one quick note before I go. We were just talking about how we have about 7 groups right now, and how we really hope to get maybe 150 new people this fall. I mean, if all of our plans go well, we could probably expect 100 to 150 people. Here's what that means. We're going to have some packed life groups. And so the word that I want us all to remember this fall is flexible. I want us to try and be flexible. Some of our groups might get bigger than we're comfortable with. That's okay. That means that we're growing. And what I want to do at the end of each semester is have our groups nominate a potential leader that I can meet with over the holidays, and hopefully have another group ready to go in January. So hopefully by the end of this semester, we will have doubled. It's a big goal, but it's my hope that we will double the number of life group leaders that we have. So until then, I think the word is flexible. We're going to need to be flexible in the size of our groups. We're also going to need to be flexible in the influx. There's going to be, because we're keeping these groups open and we have a set open date, there's going to be an influx of people. And so what I want to ask you to do is to be flexible with us as we are working out the kinks in this system, but also to set aside some time in which you can contact some new people, invite them in. So that's going to be it for us today, for me today. Wow, I almost closed a service. This is a video. It's not a service. That's it for us today, guys. That's not it. Anyway, that's it for me. So I'm going to post some comments, some questions in the description of this video. Go ahead and answer those in the comments. And if you can't answer in the comments, go ahead and email me your answers. I hope you're having a great day. I'll see you next time.